TD Bank locks trans customers out of account. It's 2015. See that, folks? Hi, I'm Jennifer McCreath. It is February 10th, 2015. And we are still living in a world where organizations such as Toronto Dominion Bank, who claim to be our friends and allies, still don't have a clue who we are, what our issues are. I got locked out of all my accounts because my voice wasn't completely perfect, says Emily Rose Kinsley. He was calling me ma'am, but then switched to sir. He refused to access my records, called me a man because of my voice, said he was locking me out of my accounts, and he didn't even ask me security questions. The representative refused to listen to her when she called back and appeared to have no awareness of trans issues. I mean, I don't know if we want to point the finger at TD Bank, if we want to point them at all these so-called LGBT organizations that they work with, or if we need to look ourselves in the mirror, trans community. All the time that they put in to so-called education and awareness, all the money they give to the pride parades so that they can have their logos splashed everywhere, all the meetings and so-called work that's taking place, we're still getting left out in the cold, folks. It's not that hard to write a trans-inclusive policy. It's not that hard to find a trans person that has written policies as such. One perfect example would be me, Jennifer McCreath. I've been in the identity authentication and authorization business since 2003. Doesn't matter what's between your legs. There are ways to authenticate somebody. Doesn't matter what your voice sounds like. Especially over the telephone, you have what's known as a password. And if that person gives you the password, it means they are who they say they are. No different than why we used to sign our autograph on the back of checks whenever we want to withdraw money from a teller at the bank. The autograph matches the one on file, so it must be that person. It's very difficult to forge an autograph. We have convenience banking cards with numbers. We have additional PIN numbers. If that's not enough, put a little mark somewhere in that electronic record that says, this is a trans person. Their voice might be different. And how about having sensitivity training for all staff on trans issues? I mean, this is, to me, I can understand 10, 15 years ago, this still being a problem. Trans people are not all binary. We're not always going to have the tone of voice that you expect to hear. Some of us won't even have legal sex changes, surgical sex changes. Heck, some of us won't even have our name changed. It's tough to change names in certain parts of the world. Luckily for me, I was born in a place, Nova Scotia, Canada, live in a place, Newfoundland, Canada, that getting those documents changed wasn't as challenging as it is for some of the other trans people out there. But this is unacceptable. Bottom line, here's a bank who claims TD. You think TD Bank, you think Toronto Pride, you think about the logos and the floats. How many trans people do they have working for them? Do they even know what the issues are? What about Toronto Pride? What about St. John's Pride? What about every single Pride organization that accepts money from TD? What efforts are you making to educate them on trans issues and trans policies? Obviously not enough if something like this is still happening in 2015. If TD won't do it themselves, if the politicians won't do it, if the gays won't do it, trans people, we need to stand up for ourselves. Demand and insist trans-inclusive policies and procedures so that we can do the very basic things that everyone else takes for granted, such as do telephone banking, for crying out loud. We need bigger trans organizations. I can only do so much as one person, as can Kristen Malloy, who wrote that blog, and the many other trans people out there that are working hard. Trans people, come on. I think it's time that we get ourselves organized. We might not always agree on pronouns and medical protocols, but I think in a case like this, I think it's fairly clear-cut. At some point in our lives, we're all going to want to have to do business with a bank, and we don't want to be told we aren't serving you because we don't think you are who you say you are. You want to work with me on this, people? Let's have a chat. Jennifer McCreath, thanks for watching.